Good morning. I am so excited to jump on here. I hope you're all really well and having a lovely morning. It's like overcast and cold, but we've had a really good week, so it's been a beautiful week of sunshine, and I thought it'd be so fun to come on here and basically do a bridal bouquet with you. So we've got a beautiful bouquet getting picked up tomorrow, a winter bouquet, and we're doing it's all those really lovely like jewel tones, red wine color. It's beautiful, like deep purples. So we've got some stunning product in. I'll talk you through what we've got. We'll put it together, and then tomorrow morning I will ribbon it, and then it gets picked up at midday. So yeah, I'm very excited. Welcome. Right, so I guess we're talk flowers. I love this colour palette. It is so gorgeous. All those kind of jewel tones, they're so lovely. So we've got your native manuka at the back. We're using that as a base, like a foliage, but it's got the really deep red flowers on, so it does bring through that red. It also is kind of like a dark red, almost black foliage, which is so nice against the other colours. We've got your orchids, they're beautiful. Look at that. How nice is that in the colour? And then we are going to match that with your New Zealand rose. And then I've actually got a Colombian rose. These were in my shop bouquets, but they're so nice. I wonder if I could add it in as well and put them together. It's really beautiful. And that one's got to open up more, so once it opens, I think it'll be a really nice mix. On top of that, we've got these deep red dahlias. Now, dahlias are out of season. These are greenhouse growing. I'm a little bit like, I love seasonal flowers because it means that you get them for when they're coming out in the garden, in season. But dahlias are my favourite, and I just can't help myself because they're so beautiful. We have another favourite of mine, but these ones are in season, so these are more of a winter bloom as your ranunculus. Look at that stem length, that is so nice. And like the layers of petals, how beautiful is that? So it's kind of like peony shape, I guess, but these are your winter blooms, and the colour, it looks like it's been dipped almost. It's so gorgeous. So I thought it'd be fun to use this for, we've got one bridal bouquet and one buttonhole to do. I thought it'd be fun to do like a little buttonhole with a ranunculus in, and then doing like a sprig of the manuka coming out as well. So yeah, come along for the ride, I guess, and let's get creating. Right, so I thought I'd start with the buttonhole. So we're going to do, this is just on the lapel, just on the suit jacket. That's so nice, so beautiful. So I thought definitely the ranunculus. Look at that. It's also yummy. It's gonna be such a nice base, the manuka base, but I'm actually considering using one of these orchids and just putting one bloom on. So yeah, let's start. So to begin, I'm going to wire, well, I'm not going to wire the ranunculus like traditionally how it should be wired. I'm going to wire up the stem so it stays and it doesn't flop. But I quite like seeing the stem in this one. I think because it's such a dark colour, you kind of need that green to break up the suit. I've been told that the bride's actually in black, so that makes me guess that the groom is also in black, like a nice black suit or shirt. So yeah, I think seeing the stem will actually be a really nice kind of, it will just break up and make it pop a little bit. So we're just bringing these down to small little stems. This is only tiny, so I feel like that's more than enough. See, it makes like a really beautiful little cluster. So nice. And then I'm going to use one of these orchids. Which one? Look at that. I'm so excited. It's so beautiful. So that's going to have to be fully wired because it's got such a short stem. And then just put this in water. We've got a stunning ranunculus, which I cut down. So I usually do about 3 fingers worth before I cut. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer while I'm making it, and then I cut it down. Like, yeah, I love that green. It's so nice. I really want to keep it in. So the wire that we use is a green wire. They come in different thicknesses, so depending on how heavy the bloom is. The thinner wire is used for things like the small clusters of foliage and like the woodier stems. So that's not going to flop or like droop at all just because it's such a strong stem. So I use a thinner wire for that, but something like the ranunculus or a rose, I will use a thick wire for, because that has the potential of drooping. So we use that. And for this, because it's such a delicate stem there, I'm actually going to use a bit of both. I'm going to use a thicker wire to make up the new stem, but I'm also going to use a thinner wire to go through the back of it here, so it's nice and strong. Got the little bars, and this is what will stay in overnight. So put it in the fridge. Right, so might start with a thicker wire. Just going to feed it up the stem. So that's a hollow stem, and I'm just going to push it into the head, and then I'm just going to get a thinner wire, not like my thinnest, but enough, strong enough to hold up the head, but not so thin that it won't do anything. And I'm actually going to feed it through like that, so it just goes straight through, and I'm going to fold it down. This just ensures that it's just nice and strong in there, and it stays upright like that. Perfect. Now we've got parafilm tape. You can get a few different types of this. There's more of a paper tape, and then there is the plasticky tape, I guess. I think you can get in different colors as well. You can definitely get in white. So if you're doing white flowers, instead of doing the parafilm and then ribboning it, you could just use the white parafilm, and it saves you on the ribbon, and it's just one less layer, so the thickness is really thin. The thing about parafilm, it needs to be nice and warm, so I actually tuck it into my bra, warm it up, but I'm going to see if this works, and if it doesn't, I will tuck it in and I'll come back to it. It's kind of funny tape. You hold and you pull it, hold and pull. See, it's just ripping a little. I'm going to tuck it into my bra. One sec. So I'm just going to cut that like that, and I'll just place it in the water for now while I do the others. I mean, with these woody stems, you probably don't even need to wire it. Get rid of anything that is for the stem. It has to be completely clean. And then for this beautiful orchid, I'm going to use, what thickness? I'm going to use a medium thickness. So with this, I'm actually just going to loop it, because I feel like that's such a delicate stem. I'm looping it round. You don't have to wire everything. If you just want the stems natural and you're doing like a DIY home thing, you can absolutely just loop it and have the stems showing. So see, it's like that. I'm now going to parafilm it. So we've got our parafilm. I'm going to parafilm it from the top, so it's nice and snug against that wire. Parafilm doesn't want to work for me today because it's so cold. I feel like winter weddings are a bit tougher when it comes to this stuff, because your gear doesn't want to cooperate with you. Whereas summer, this stuff is stretchy as anything, because it's so warm, especially in the Bay of Plenty, that it just doesn't need that heating up time. So parafilm is one of those things that kind of sticks on itself. There's some amazing books out there that actually just explains all this as well. It's a really shocking job, but I'll show you what I do. See? It's just seem like that. So cute. How nice is that? So pretty, so dainty. Perfect. So let me just fix it up. There we go. Now it's cooperating a little bit better. Basically, you want the stem as thin as possible. That's the more traditional way. It's how most of the old school florists would work. Everything's wired to the point that you can get fully wired bouquets. I love the fully wired bouquets. It takes a true talent to be able to do a fully wired bouquet. There's something quite incredible about it. The workmanship that goes into it is insane. It is such a skill. So there we go. Look at that. They were definitely more popular back in the day. Nowadays you don't really get many of them. But if you're using things like, for example, if you want little heads of orchids or cascading, if you want your bridal bouquet cascading down, that's when you'll get the beautiful wide flowers. Let me just do this. You have to be so careful as well with this, because the stem is hollow, so it's so easily squished. There's lots of activity happening on our road. Right. There we go. So I've just done a little bit of wire there. So to put this together, it's kind of like a mini bouquet in a way. So I still actually, I think it's just a habit of mine that I actually do a bit of a spiral. I will kind of tell you about how a spiral works. How nice is that? Oh my god, I love that little orchid head in there. Look how nice that is. And I'm just going to come through with the parafilm again. And then tomorrow morning when I do the ribboning for the bouquet, I will also ribbon this guy. With the ribbon option, because the bride's in black, I do have black ribbon, which again, see, it's gonna look so nice. I also have this really nice chocolate brown, which I'm like absolutely in love with. It's like my favorite color at the moment. You'll see me only wearing chocolate brown. So I'm tempted to do some of that, but I think I'm going to stick with the black. All right, so see that? I'm just working my way down. You kind of pull it. Here we go. This is when, so I do the ribbon along there, 3 fingers, and I give it a bit of a chop all the way through. Look at that, with the black ribbon. Oh, that's so nice. So pretty, I love it. So I'm just going to pop that in there, make sure that the tape doesn't go into the water, and that's just going in the fridge. Right, so let's start this bridal. So this bouquet is a real petite number. It's not large at all. We're just doing a small one. So it's just about getting those stems really clean. Wear gloves on your hands if you want to. My hands are very used to doing this, so they just get trashed. But if you're just doing this as a one-off, make sure you wear some gloves to protect your fingers. So just clearing that, getting rid of any bits I don't like. It's technically giving it a haircut, so I'm trying to take off quite a bit of this. So where are we? Yeah. How nice is that? Look at those colours, so pretty. Kind of like the movement of that, that's so nice. So just going to get it all cut down to how I like it. So beautiful. We're so lucky to have a native like this. There we go. Got our roses. So I just want these really open. I'm going to clear the stems. Oh, take off the guard petals. Do these outer ones. Sometimes the guard petals are so pretty. So it depends on the type of rose I use, but a lot of the time I actually keep the guard petals on. In this instance, that's quite nice. Look at those. So these are the guard petals that see, they've got that like green coming through. So that's really lovely. So these will open a little bit overnight. I might leave this bouquet out of the fridge. Just blowing it open. And then you've also got the chance that you could reflex it. I'm not going to do that with these ones, but that's just folding the petals back. Oh, I really want to use these. I just think they're going to be far too large. Look at that. That's so nice. I put 2 there, we see. Now with these orchids, I'm going to actually, I know it's a bit heartbreaking, but I'm going to remove the lower ones that are bruised. There we go. And then I'm actually going to cut these because I want all the blooms that are open. I think I might keep like 1 or 2 with the length, but there we go. So look at that, so pretty. Put that in little bud vase and hopefully they'll open. Put them next to my bed. It's just so stunning, so beautiful. So I'm going to leave some long. See, that's so long. And sadly I can't use it all. I might cut it when it's in the bouquet. Right, and then we've got the star, the ranuncs. So I might actually take off these buds. Look at how incredible that is. So I'm going to take all these studs. I think I might still use it. Like, look how stunning that is. It'd be so nice, and it's got that green coming through. It's like it's dancing. Oh, the squiggle, so pretty. I'm so excited with how this is going to look. So, popping it together, that's actually quite a large bit. I'm just going to break that down a little bit. You can use it as like a little bit that comes out the side. Perfect. So I'm going to start with my more focal flowers. This one's like a cool shape. Clean those stems off. And then we're going to bring those, like, so lovely, right? You might actually bring them quite far down. Like, bring out that centre stem. Yeah, that's better. Dancing through, just like clear up those little petals. But I love how these move, so definitely want them to be the star of the show. Look at that, so nice. So it's kind of like working on top of each other, layering it up. I'm going to bring one of these down tight. Nice. And then, so see, I'm spiraling, all the stems fall in the same direction. And then I'm just adding, and then spinning, and adding. You can do more frontal bouquets, but I quite like the idea of this being a bit more of a all-round number. I want it to look cool from each angle. There definitely will be a front. That one just broke, so I'm going to bring it really low into there. This one's kind of doing its own wee thing. I might bring him down a little bit. I do want to bring more of that orchid in. Kind of like sitting on top of each other in a way. Maybe I bring it up like that. That looks kind of cool. Let me cut this. I'm going to cut it actually right down. Bring that other side so you've got more of a focal, and then like you can kind of see it coming out either side, which is really nice. Movement with it coming up to the side. So it's just when you're making bouquets, the flowers can tend to fall, so just want to make sure that's looking at it. Just remembering basically to pull everything up, because it does tend to fall down, constantly moving when you're making it. So look how nice that back is. Look at that orchid, it's tucked in there, it's so lovely. I'm with this guy, and I just want to move him. I'm kind of dancing out the side. Oh yeah, it's nice. Following that line. See how the manuka is the line that comes up? Oh, I can't get over these. So pretty. What do you want to add? I could add him in as a pretty prominent bloom at the back there, or he can, no, he's too big to come up. It's pretty nice, like it's just a little bit too big. playing, constant making and moving around. Because what might look good in one place won't look good in another. So I want to take this guy and kind of tuck him in because I feel like there's a line going on. And I kind of want him on top. So I might tuck him down. How nice. Oh, these colours, they're so lovely. Got these cool little bits that I feel like could just tuck in and come out dancing. How pretty is that? Just these little buds. Sometimes I'll put like little things that make a bouquet. It's just those delicate finishings. I've got a couple more orchids that I could use, so I'm such a sucker for these. Actually, he might open back up to something pretty cool. So got a few more orchids, so I think I might pop those guys in. See that? That's the back there, so it's coming up and through, and it's following that line of the manuka. I feel like it needs something in here. It's got that beautiful ranunc, but I want something coming up, I think. I kind of like the idea of another rose. There we go. Nice. How beautiful. So that's my bridal. I'm a little bit tempted. I like that, but I'm like, should I cut it a little bit? That's so nice. Look at that. So lovely. I'm going to use this guy as well. I've got one more. But it's definitely bright. People are probably cringing with me cutting those, but putting him up with like a few different stems, does that continuous line. So I'm holding it actually quite loosely because I've got all that spiraling, so you can see it all goes in the same way. It means if I loosen it off, when I bring it together, it all just falls back into place. That's the main thing when making a bouquet. It's not so much with what's going on here, it's what's going on here that makes the difference. Because if this is clean and it's all facing the right way, you could let it go and technically it should all come back. Perfect. I am in love with that. Look at those colours. Look how pretty that is. Still got kind of a line here, but I feel like this one's breaking it. So gorgeous. Okay. So cute. I love it. So, oh, this guy in. Can't forget him. So, use a mirror, bathroom mirror or something, and check it from all angles. So I really like that. If it gets swapped around, that is still so pretty. I've actually put a bit extra in this than I should, but I just can't help myself. It's so nice. Such a beautiful colour. I just need to twine. So I'm going to tie this off. Once it's tied off, I usually will parafilm it. So see, there's no foliage under there. It's all clean stem. So that's the most important thing. Look at that. Oh, how pretty. Look against the black. It just pops. So nice. And then I think I am going to go with the black. Look how nice that is. And then with the green stems coming out. I'm going to cut the stems quite short. I've actually got this. I might reuse that water. Some of the flowers will move up and down. You probably want to do a little bit of tweaking, but so nice. So I'm just fixing out little areas that I'm not perfectly sure about. Nice. Okay. I'm just going to cut the stems a little bit longer. So I cut them quite long. When I go to cut them for the bride, I'm going to cut them right down, but I'm going to leave them long overnight, and then once I ribbon in the morning, I can just do the final tweaks. So that's our bouquet. Such a nice little number. It's going into the water. I'm going to let it have a good drink, and then I'll see you tomorrow for the ribbons. Here we go. Good morning. I hope you're really well. It's Sunday and it feels good being out again. I'm excited. Look at the colours. Oh, I can't get over. Look at that. Well, I forget how beautiful it is, those colours, and then I saw it when I first walked in. I was just like melted a little. It's so lovely. Look at that one. I'm fangirling the flowers. So I'm going to ribbon the bouquets this morning and get them all ready for our pick-up bride. I'm going to tape the stems, and then we are going to ribbon them. So I've got a thick ribbon for the bouquet and a thin for the buttonhole, and same with the tape. I'm kind of doing a little different to normal. I'd use parafilm, but I think I'm going to use tape just because it's wet outside. I think it will stick better, and then finish it off with some pins, and same goes for the buttonhole, and I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of hot glue. We'll see how we go. And then we're going to wrap it all up into our bouquet bags, our wedding bags, and yeah, I am excited. So, got coffee and we're on. Let's get started. So I think I'll start with this bouquet. Look at that, so nice. How nicely that ranunculus opened, and this bud. Look at those petals, they're like real fluffed out. So beautiful. So at this stage, this is kind of like your last time to tweak. We're just going to bring things back into place. Right, so I've just had to tweak it a little bit because this guy was a little bit rotten. The rottenness in his head because he didn't love being outside. So just update it a little. We've still got the ranuncs running through, but I've actually wired them all. So that's just putting a wire up their stem, and it just ensures that they're happy and they won't droop. Oh, there we go. And then it's also been about just moving all the stems up, because it's quite nice having these different heights twisting. They kind of twist in the night. I'm happy with that. So for the ribbon, I am using adhesive tape. It's just super sticky on one side, so I'm just going to go around the base really nice and snug and tight, just keeping an eye on it because things shift, so we just want to make sure everything's like at the right height while we're going. Beautiful. And then I think we just take out anything that looks like a bit squished, like that's a bit squished in there. Bring it nice and tight. This means that the stems won't move. So I've got the tape around. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to twist it and have it so the sticky side is on the outside. I'm going to run the sticky side all the way up the stem. Look at those. I love that. Look at that. It's such a nice curve, like so lovely. Right, just keep on going round. Cut it. I'm grabbing the black ribbon, so I've definitely got a front to this, like that. I'm just putting this against the back, laying it flat so that sticky adhesive will hold it. Or you just go around tightly, making sure there's no creases in the ribbon. And because that's the front, we're just finishing off, doing a really nice clean finish at the front and at the back here. I am just going to get a really sharp pair of scissors so you've got a really clean line. I'm going to fold it in on itself slightly, and I've got these pins, so I'm just going through the top there. Might be a bit hard to see because it's so black, so dark, and I am just pinning it up. Oh, do be a bit careful pushing the pins in because I have had pins through my finger before. It's not the nicest. You can use the scissors to push it in the furthest. It's just when it hits a woody stem. There we go. So you've got your finish. That's the back. The bride will see that that's the back. And you've got the front. This buttonhole, so pretty still. I am going to do the exact same. This is not probably a normal way to do it, but I think it's going to work best with the weather. Just holding it, because the hot glue tends to fall apart a little bit with the rain and around. So I'm just grabbing the ribbon, doing a nice clean cut, and just on the back I'm doing the exact same as I did with the bouquet, just working my way round. And this is the bit that the pin will go through. Now you can get magnets. It's something I actually really want to start using because they're so much easier for the bridal party to use, but I haven't got there yet. There we go, just to the end. I'm actually going to bring that like that so it's nice and tight, and then just going to do a little clean cut on the back there. I'm just going to get a little bit of hot glue and hot glue that guy down so it'll be like that when you finish off, and the pin just goes through the stem here. So I'm just cutting this down really short, cleaning the new stems up so it's just super clean. You want it flat. I can almost cut it shorter, I reckon. Oh, it's a thick stem. One second. Oh. And make sure you have a really good pair of snips, because otherwise you can do real damage to your wrist. Right, nice and short. And then we go. So cute. Like flowy, super gorgeous. Look at that. Look at those colours, and a little buttonhole to match. Bride, groom, so pretty. Thanks for coming along. I've got the bag that the bouquet sits in, and then we do a little box for the buttonhole. Yay, this has been so fun. I look forward to doing it again with you. But have a nice weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.